Okay everyone, this is a follow-up on today's lesson. And basically, if I give you a graph of a quadratic, could you find certain properties like the zeros, maybe even the vertex, or even derive the graph even if it wasn't given? But anyways, here we go. So as you can see, I have a graph here. It's a quadratic. And notice I have a 0 right there at positive 1, don't I? So that point right there is 1, 0, as we would say. And my other 0 right there is at negative 5, 0. So one thing I want to make sure you understand is I already pretty much can derive my equation. And I know my equation, if I use y or f of x, I know my y simply got to be x plus 5. Why? Because negative 5 plus 5 is 0. And of course, I'm going to do an x minus 1. Why? Because 1 minus 1 is 0. So right there, I already have the equation for the graph pretty much. And when you get into upper level math, you'll learn that maybe there's some amplitude you're going to have to figure out or so on. But for right now, I just want to keep it basic. Okay? What else we could do, of course, is use our distributive property here. And another form of the equation would be x squared minus x plus 5x minus 5, which, if we combine like terms, is x squared plus 4x minus 5. So here we have what we call the standard form. And right here is what we call the factored or intercept form. Okay? And maybe later in the video I'll talk about vertexes a little bit, but let's just focus on making the equations, okay? So if we look at this one right here, notice I have a 0 right there at positive 3. 0 over here at negative 4. Can we make our equation? Our equation is going to be x minus 3. Why? Because 3 minus 3 is 0. The rest of my equation is going to be x plus 4. Why? Because negative 4 plus 4 is 0. There again is my intercept form. If they want standard form, I'm just going to have to use distributive property here. X squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 12. Let's combine our x-like terms together. So y equal to x squared plus x minus 12 is the actual equation for this graph. Okay, pause the video if you need to. Let's just do one more where we derive the equation. Right there, I know my 0 is at negative 2. Right there, I know my 0 is at negative 4. Therefore, my equation for this graph has to be of the form x plus 4, x plus 2. Why? Because negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. This would be called the factored or intercept form. Again, if they want standard form, I have to use my distributive property. Combine some like terms. So the standard form would be x squared plus 6x plus 8. And so guys, that concludes that part of the video. One other thing I discussed in class, I might as well do real quick here. So I'll do it in green, hopefully it shows up well. Is, since I know my zeros are at negative 4 and negative 2, remember, if I average them, matter of fact, I'll go to black here. If I average those zeros, guys, see how I'm adding and dividing by 2 here? I know I'm going to get, in this case, negative 3. That is where the vertex is. Because the vertex is always, as you can see right here, perfectly in the middle between my two zeros, okay? And if I ever need to find the y coordinate for my vertex, in this case, all I have to do is take -3 and plug it into my equation. If I use the intercept form shown in red above, I know y would be -3 plus 4 times -3 plus 2. And -4 and 3 is 1. -3 and 2 is -1. 1 times -1 is -1. And as you can see right here, let me clean it up a little bit. As you can see right here is not my vertex at -3, -1. And I could have done a similar thing, guys, with this problem as well as this problem or equation or graph as well. But one thing you definitely should learn from me in my IM2 class is how to interpret a graph, interpret the zeros, maybe even convert it into a quadratic equation. If you have to, not only find the zeros, but also find the vertex. I'll see you in class.